Gravitas, a poem on the sack of Rome by the Gauls in 390 BC, or some say 387 BC. Adapted from Livy's Ab Urbe Condita, or From the Foundation of the City, Book 5, chapters 38 to 42. The sunset torched the summer sky, the spectral moon rose round, when a shadow passed the city gates and staggered to the ground. Some rushed to help the soldier up. He swatted them, annoyed. He spat up blood and bitter news. Rome's legions were destroyed. We took no auspices, he said. We did not stake our odds upon the ashes of our fathers or the temples of our gods. This folly augured our defeat, this negligence our doom. For when we met the Gallic spears, that plain became our tomb. We stretched our wings, avoiding flank. Their front was longer still. The Gauls unleashed their battle cry, and then attacked our hill. We were not Romans on this day. Our center did not hold. We turned and blocked each other's paths in panic. None were bold. We fled across the Tiber's bank, but armor weighed us down. And in that swirling riverbed, we struggled and we drowned. Disorder ruled, their javelins pelted our backs in flight. I cast my armor off and ran. The coward's load is light. The soldier clutched his heavy heart. A heavy breath was drawn. His shadow soaked the dusty earth. His conscience rattled on. The Gauls are marching on us now. Their force is very near. They're camping near the 𝐼𝐸. Tomorrow, they'll be here. Cruel Brennus is their army's chief, if an army's what they are. A locust swarm more like, that plagues our country from afar. They've come for olives, figs, and grapes. They've come to starve our pride. Against cruel Brennus there's no hope. This said, the soldier died. Laments rose up to fill the night, but grief soon turned to fear. The howls of the barbarian were heard on the frontier. The Vestal virgins fled to keep the sacred relics safe. The peasants to the wilderness where rocks and brambles chafe. Those few who could bear arms prepared with children and loud wives to fortify the citadel and fight there for their lives. The city's elders scorned all flight. Though they could not bear arms, they would be Romans to the end, in spite of wild alarms. These generals and consuls who, for country, family, friend, had won the laurels in their day, knew not how knees could bend. They clasped each younger shoulder firm and said reserved goodbyes, then led them to the citadel amidst the women's cries. No speeches flowed with purple prose. These old patricians calm bade all remember fortune lay in youth's unwrinkled palm. These past 360 years, since Rome in sacred lore was built upon the Palatine, it never lost a war. Their wives did not want them to go, these warriors gone gray, but guiding love to wipe wet cheeks, their husbands walked away. They donned their faded purple robes, these old patricians few. With victory's insignias, they held their honor true. Instated in their noble homes, they sat on ivory chairs, august as thunderous Jupiter, unweathered to their hairs. Their statures hardened to the scene, receding then to blend with effigies of ancestors. They waited for the end. The Gauls approached, the city gates invited them unbarred. There were no shields standing watch, no sentinels on guard. They gazed upon the temples bare, and walked through empty streets. Where were the soldiers who had fled? Where were the town elites? The doors of plebeians were locked, of nobles open wide. It seemed a trap, too quiet. Then bold Brennus went inside. He marveled at mosaic glints that patterned every wall, and from a verdant garden speechless entered a marble hall. He walked along the sculpted heads, then stopping seemed to see a bust more lifelike than the rest, in kind and not degree. Was this the statue of a god, or just a god in plain? It seemed with all its gravity set down on earth to reign. He reached out, touched its chiseled beard, and then received a whack. An ivory staff came down on him and gave his head a crack. The statue's eyes in a slow crawl met Brennus's rude leer. The corner of the statue's lip curled upwards in a sneer. The Gaul's face flushed. He plunged his blade in the phantom's cool white skin. Its graven features glazed. It dropped like broken porcelain. "Men only!" simple Brennus cried. "Not deities at all!" He signaled that the rest be slain, and watched each idol fall. The elders' deaths unfettered chaos. Plunder knew no shame. Each house was pillaged, none were spared, the temples set aflame. The citadel looked on and mourned its crying, crackling land. Nails tore at hair, fists gripped their swords to make a final stand. And when youth triumphed and rebuilt, for ages none would stray from the example of their elders and the lesson of that day. That citadel is long since razed, its wardens dead and gone, and few now living can recall those elders, that red dawn. Such ancient virtue, though, still lives in Livy's dusty tome, a state of worth all hearts should know, the dignity of Rome.